This is WLKY Louisville, live, local, late breaking. Your complete news coverage for Greater Louisville starts right now.
Right now at 7, convicted of murder, William Clyde Gibson now faces the ultimate penalty after a jury returns a guilty verdict.
Hundreds of pieces of evidence. The media gets a closer look at all the exhibits used in David Camp's third murder trial.
Restricting liquor sales. Hear why some say it could curb violence in our community. Good morning, I'm Christina Mora.
And I'm Lexi Sheen. Thanks for starting out your Saturday with us. It's 7 a.m. We're going to check the day's news in just a minute. But first, we want to check out what we're starting out with a chilly Saturday morning. But you said sunshine ahead.
That's right.
Silver lining.
Sunshine ahead. Temperatures are still going to run a bit on the cool side. Highs in the upper 50s. You know, we should be still near 70 for this time of year.
I sure wish we were.
I know. You know what? It does look like some warmer weather is coming our way, though.
And it looks like they're getting ready for the half marathon behind you there.
That's right. For the Republic Bank big hit half and quarter marathon going on this morning. So I'm sure plenty of runners are dressed warmly out there this morning if you're going out for your morning run. Temperatures in the upper 20s and lower 30s. Let's go ahead and give you this live look from downtown. This particular race does take you by the KFC Yum Center, also takes you by Papa John's Cardinals Stadium, through many of our city landmarks, Muhammad Ali Center, and also by 4th Street. So definitely probably a lot of people headed down there for some excitement this morning. I believe the race kicks off at 7:45 this morning. A live look outside from Churchill Downs. Speaking of racing, we have seen a number of horses taking their early morning laps out there this morning on the backside. It is a frosty start to the day. You'll notice that with our clear skies showing up here on our WLKY Doppler network. So no problems as far as precipitation right now. As far as temperatures are concerned, it is certainly a chilly start to the day, and temperatures will remain below normal for today as well. It is currently 27 degrees in Cordon, 32 degrees in Madison, 28 degrees in LaGrange, and 26 degrees right now in Frankfort. Your forecast today, though, not bad. Winds kicking up out of the southwest at about 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting to about 25. We will have a nice mixture of clouds and sunshine. We will talk all about the all-important Halloween forecast coming up in just a few minutes, but right now let's send it back over to Lexi.
Thanks, Suzanne. In a capital punishment case, an accused serial killer has been convicted of murder. Now jurors in the William Clyde Gibson trial must decide if Gibson will live or die. Prosecutors are confident he will receive the death penalty, saying it's one of the most gruesome cases they've ever tried. WLKY's Lauren Adams has the latest.
What happened inside this home back in April 2012 cost an elderly woman her life. Now it cost William Gibson his too. After deliberating for less than 20 minutes inside this courtroom, where cameras weren't allowed, a jury found Gibson guilty of murder. Now that same jury will decide if he will live or die.
If there was ever a case that was relevant for the death penalty to be filed, it would be this one.
The week's testimony provided a gruesome timetable of events. Gibson, who had recently lost his mother, called 74-year-old Christine Whitus her best friend, saying he needed someone to talk to. She came to this house where she was tortured, bound with duct tape, sexually assaulted, her back broken, and then in a final cold-blooded act, one of her breasts was cut off with a kitchen knife. Gibson's defense team says he never meant to kill the old woman, but was acting under the influence of marijuana and alcohol. Prosecutors called it a planned act, labeling this one of the most gruesome cases they've ever tried.
Very disturbing, very gruesome, very difficult.
It was difficult too for a family who left the courtroom in tears. One family member simply saying justice was served.
It's at least somewhat of a sense of relief for the victims' families to be able to see 12 independent people, reach a verdict of guilty. And for them, I think that's somewhat of a relief. Again, our work's not done because now we have the second phase on Monday, and we'll look forward to that.
Lauren Adams, WLKY News.
And the jury will be back in the courtroom at 9 a.m. on Monday for the penalty phase. Floyd County Prosecutor Keith Henderson expects it could take anywhere from 2 to 3 days. Gibson is also charged in the murders of 2 other women. Stephanie Kirk's body was found buried in the backyard of Gibson's home shortly after Christine Whitus's murder. He's also accused of killing Karen Hodella more than a decade ago. His trial for their murders is currently scheduled for January.
In another high-profile case, a day after the not guilty verdict in the David Camp trial, We got an up-close look at all of the evidence in the case. Both sides entered roughly 500 exhibits into evidence during the 9-week trial, and jurors had access to nearly all of it during the 10-hour deliberations. They specifically asked to see the shirt Cam was wearing the night of the murders 13 years ago. Now it's full of holes from all of the testing done over the years. The infamous gray sweatshirt remained in its sealed evidence bag during the trial and wasn't opened in court. Instead, attorneys used an exhibit to show where the victim's DNA and blood was. All the exhibits will now be packed up and returned to the evidence lockers for storage. State statute says it must be saved for at least 50 years. The Cam trial also meant a lot of work for the Sheriff's Department in Boone County, where the proceedings were held.
So this was a major undertaking, and from our perspective, we think things went very smoothly. It's man hours.
Sheriff Ken Campbell says his department worked with Floyd County for months in preparation of this trial. While staffing the courthouse, he says some of his deputies were taken off patrol. And while it was all being billed to Floyd County, he did his best to keep costs down.
Got a lot of high-profile cases going on right now, and I know this case was costing a lot of money, and we did everything we could to try to keep our costs down. Even though we were billing Floyd County, I treated it as just as if the bill was crossing my desk.
After the verdict, Cam returned to jail briefly to be processed out. Then the Boone County Sheriff and deputies drove him to a nearby truck stop where he met and left with family members. Now, we do have a wide range of coverage of the Cam trial and the verdict online, including raw video of Cam leaving the courthouse. We also have reaction from prosecutors, not only from this trial, but the 2 previous trials, and entire interviews from the families on both sides of this case. It's all on our homepage, WLKY.com.
Some positive news this morning on the city's effort to curb violence. Yesterday, Mayor Fisher held a news conference to talk about the progress made so far. 1 year ago, the city started the Violence Prevention Work Group. That group is designed to help reduce crime and make our neighborhoods safer. The mayor says overall crime is down, and he's looking toward the future.
There is a lot of work ahead, but the good news for the community is that people are embracing this work, and they understand that it is a journey, but they're happy to be on the journey.
The Violence Prevention Work Group began in response to a triple homicide that took place in May of last year. Mayor Fisher says that day served as a wake-up call for the city.
Meanwhile, the mayor has asked the Louisville Water Company to lower its proposed rate increase. The Board of Waterworks is considering raising customer bills by up to 5% next year. In a statement, Fisher says he asked the Water Board to limit its increase to less than 4%.
A newly passed Metro Council ordinance that restricts the sale of packaged liquor, beer, and wine after 2 a.m. has some local businesses fuming. Its sponsors say the ordinance will create a better quality of life for high-crime neighborhoods. The new law won't affect clubs or bars, which can still stay open until 4 a.m.
This city just sent a message. It's okay to get in your car at 2 o'clock in the morning and head to a nightclub to drink till 4 a.m.
After the ordinance is signed by the mayor, it goes into effect December 1st. The new law will not affect Shively, St. Matthews, and Jeffersontown. 7:08 now on your chilly Saturday morning. New documents in the unsolved murder of JonBenet Ramsey are released. We'll take a look at what the grand jury found almost 20 years ago. Stay with us.
And good morning. Right now it is 7:08. Our forecast high today, 58 degrees. A nice mixture of clouds and sunshine, breezy conditions as well. We're going to check out your 7-day forecast and, of course, your Halloween weather coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Welcome back. We're just talking about kind of how flustered we are after having the tigers on and everything. I had to switch my jacket. I had some tiger slobber. Smelled like a tiger.
There's Windex over in the weather center, and we were trying to spray Lexi's jacket down. Didn't work though,
it's going to be at the dry cleaner a little bit later on this morning. But
they'll say, what is that?
Tiger slobber. Mm-hmm. Do you know how to get that out?
Listen, not everyone gets to say that when they take something to the dry cleaner.
That's true. All right, but it is a chilly morning, so you need a jacket out there. If you're heading out, try not to have tiger slobber on it. It doesn't smell great. But if you're heading out to the race today, you need to put even more layers on.
Yeah, absolutely. Temperatures in the 20s and 30s right now. I believe we have a live perspective from our photojournalist Brandon, who I'm sure is delighted to be downtown this morning on a cool October morning.
Sure.
Yes, I saw his hat on. And you can see everyone warming up a little bit. It's a quarter marathon and a half marathon this morning. It's sponsored by Republic Bank, and part of the proceeds go to Big Brothers and Big Sisters. So lots of people probably getting ready for their big run this morning. And you know what? If you're a runner, this is kind of perfect weather, I think. It's refreshing, it's brisk, it's not terribly windy out there.
And once you get going, you sort of don't feel so cold.
That's right. Probably, I said by mile 3, you're probably feeling pretty good.
That would take me a solid 30 minutes to get into that.
That would be what I've done, and I'd be like, whew, 3 miles.
So yeah, we're proud of everyone that can do it.
That's right.
That's
Good
a long
stuff
way.
going on this morning. Let's go ahead and give you another live perspective of what's going on. Speaking of racing, of course, as we take you to Churchill Downs. On the backside, lots of activity going on there. It does look to be a frosty start to the day, so if you parked outside, you will need to scrape your car this morning. As we go ahead and take a look at our Doppler network, you can see quiet conditions out there right now. High pressure continues to dominate our weather, and that will bring us nice clear skies. We're also talking about somewhat windy conditions as we head into the afternoon hours. Our forecast high is right around 58 degrees for today. Normal high would take us into the upper 60s, so we're still running about 10 degrees below normal. Expect more of the same for tomorrow. As we take you through the day today, you can see breezy conditions will persist, a few passing clouds as we head into the afternoon hours. And then for tonight, mostly clear skies. Temperatures will dip back down into the 30s overnight. Throughout the day on Sunday, still looking good out there. It will be another pretty day. Temperatures will recover into the upper 50s. And then into Monday, we start to warm it up a little bit more. Temperatures into the middle 60s. So that's going to feel probably a little bit better. A few passing showers farther down to the south. I think the viewing area will remain dry. We'll start to introduce the threat of some shower and thunderstorm activity into the forecast area late on Tuesday, so watch for that. 34 at the International Airport, 32 degrees at Bowman, 30 here at the station. Wind chill coming in at 30 degrees. Notice that dew point 26 degrees. The air is dry out there. Light winds from the south-southeast out there. Temps this morning, take a look. 28 degrees in Austin, 28 degrees in Seymour, 31 degrees down in Columbia right now. Okay, so 58 degrees for today, 58 degrees tomorrow, middle 60s on your Monday, 67 degrees on Tuesday with that 40% chance of showers and storms on Wednesday, upper 60s. Now for Halloween, we still have a few question marks with the forecast on the timing of this. At this point, it looks to be late 70 degrees and then middle 60s on Friday. Christina?
Okay, 7:14 now. Newly released court documents show a Colorado grand jury indicted the parents of JonBenet Ramsey. She's a 6-year-old beauty queen found strangled in the family home in 1996. This revelation sheds new light on the still unsolved case. It has fascinated the nation for the better part of 2 years, or 2 decades actually. Vigad Shaban reports.
JonBenet Ramsey was brutally murdered 17 years ago. Now we know the Colorado grand jury that was investigating the case thought her parents had something to do with her death. John and Patsy Ramsey were never officially accused of killing JonBenet, but court papers show that in 1999, a grand jury indicted them for recklessly placing their daughter in a situation which posed a threat of injury to the child's life. They were also accused of assisting the person suspected of committing the murder. The jury handed up the indictment, but the Boulder County District Attorney would not sign it, citing a lack of evidence. The Ramseys were exonerated in 2008, 2 years after Patsy Ramsey died of cancer. John Ramsey's attorney says the public still doesn't have the whole story.
What the public has now received amounts to 4 pages of a 18-month grand jury investigation that likely was made up of hundreds of thousands of pages of testimony, exhibits, and other evidence.
The judge ruled against releasing the rest of the documents. Vigad Shaban, CBS News.
Now, another attorney for the Ramseys says DNA testing in 2008 cleared them of their daughter's murder. The court documents were released after a Colorado journalist sued to obtain them. Lexi?
Thanks, Christina. 2 National Guard members hurt in a shooting at a Tennessee armory have been released from the hospital. They were shot while disarming the gunman, a fellow guardsman. A law enforcement officer says the shooter had been disciplined before opening fire. Both he and the 2 men who were wounded are recruiters. The suspect is currently in custody pending the filing of charges. A physical sign of one of the nation's greatest tragedies is being erased. Yesterday, demolition crews began leveling Sandy Hook Elementary School. That's where 26 people were killed last December. A spokesperson for the school system issued a statement saying the process will take many weeks. The fate of the 57-year-old building was decided by a task force of elected officials following a series of public hearings. Newtown is using a $50 million state grant to build a new school. It's expected to begin accepting students in about 3 years.
Well, take a look at this. This was the scene at a San Antonio home after a school bus crashed right into it. It happened just before 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. The bus driver said the brakes stopped working, causing the bus to go out of control and hit the house. 27 people were on the bus at the time. 25 of them were children. One person in the home was injured and 2 others on the bus suffered injuries, but none of them were considered serious. Well, 7-17 now. Last night was a big one for Male and Manual as the two rivals squared off in the gridiron for the first time this year.
We'll have your biggest highlights in high school playbook. That's coming up next on WLKY News. Stay with us. Another big night of matchups in high school playbook as Male took on Manual in this week's Game of the Week.
And a couple of blowout wins in both Kentucky and Indiana sent several teams home cheering. Here's Derek Forrest with sports.
It was a big night of high school football, but no game matched Male versus Manual. You go back 131 years for this rivalry, however, Manual winning the last 3 seasons. Let's take a look and listen. Manual looking good. Here is Robert Nero. Takes the handoff and just check him out. Bust up the gut, spin move. He's going to go left coast to right coast. This one is 87 yards for the score. Manual, they would go on to win 32-29. Ballard up 20-0 in the second quarter when Oldham County's Allen Farrell intercepts Ballard's Rex Wallace. Then the Colonels down and driving with just over a minute left in the first half when Bruins defensive end Sean Hammonds comes up with a big sack. And this forces a Colonels into a 56-yard field goal attempt from Sean Neuenberg. He nails it. This ties the 3rd longest field goal in KHSAA history, tying Bell County's Monty Merrick, set in 2007. Ballard gets the win, 39-13. Now Bullitt East taking on Shelby County. Fans in the stands fighting through the cold weather all night long across the coverage area. First quarter we go. Brandon Samuels takes the sweep down the right sideline, and he's going to pick up a gain of 26 yards before being taken down at the 2-yard line. So the very next play, it's Samuels again, gets his number called. This one is from 2 yards out. Bullitt East up 7-0. They go on to win it 24-10. Bulldogs driving, but Jeff comes up with a huge goal line stand, stopping them on 4th down to regain possession. So on the ensuing possession in the second quarter, Cameron Northern swings it over to Isaiah Blanton in the flat. And from here on, we can just watch this young man fly. He will take this one 55 yards to the house, and Jeff is up big 18-0. But Jeff letting Columbus North back in it. Josh Holt with a short 3-yard TD run. Bulldogs down 18-8. Now later in the quarter, Bulldogs driving again. Mitchell Kelly will hook up with Weston Moore for the 23-yard pitch and catch. It was Jeff leading at the half 18-15. They would go on to win it 33-22 to advance. Now over to Providence. I went there first, but a late kickoff forced me over to Jeff, and by the time I got back, it was 49-0 at the half. That's where we stand. Second quarter, Indy Manual trying to run the ball. Tony Carrero makes the stop in the backfield. Later in the quarter, Providence on offense. The handoff goes to Dorian Noel. Check out as he fights for some extra yardage down the near sideline. Picks up a first down, a gain of 14 yards on the play. Pioneers win easily 56-6. Next week, they take on Triton Central. North Oldham on the road taking on Collins. This is Maggie. She is the homecoming queen. Congrats to her. Pick it up in the third quarter. Collins up 21-6. Lawson Page drops back to pass, decides to tuck it. He's going to pick up a nice gain for the Titan first down the near sideline before being forced out of bounds. So later in the drive, 3rd and 17 for the Titans, and Page hits Nathan Sames, and Sames will do the rest of the work. This will make it 28-6 Collins. they would go on to win 35-6. Now, how about DeSales hosting Thomas Nelson over at Southern High School? First quarter, Dylan Bird with the carry. He is off to the races for the scores. DeSales up 7-0. Now more from the Colts. Nathan Roush. He's going to drop back to pass, and he hits Connor Shipley for the pitch and catch. And DeSales would take a 14-0 lead as he finds the end zone. Now DeSales pouring it on. Bird is going to get another carry, and he's going to find the end zone again. This puts DeSales up 21-0. Watch him run. They would win this one big over Thomas Nelson. 76-0 is the final. How about Bardstown taking on Shawnee? Third quarter we go. Shawnee trailing big. Cody Harrell. He's going to hook up with Lamont Watts for 25 yards and a first down. Fighting for yards. Now later in the drive, Harrell is going to drop back to pass again. And take a look at that hit on the incomplete pass. We show it again. What a hit there on the receiver. Bardstown, though, they walk away with the 48-0 win over Shawnee. How about Kentucky Country Day welcoming in Converna? And opening drive off the game. Zach Etosh takes the pitch, and Jared Frank, and he finds a corner, 20-yard scamper, making it 7-0. Later in the first, Converna quarterback Anthony Phillips gets pressure, tries to make a play with his legs, scrambling outside the pocket until he is stripped. It is picked up by Emilio Zayas, and he gets the big return, rumbling down the sideline, right coast to left coast, but stopped just short of the goal line. So 3:15 left in the first quarter when Frank hits Jackson Alfred down the middle for the 25-yard TD catch. KCD wins it 54-26 over Converna. So coming up later today on Sports Saturday, we'll have Louisville highlights. They take on South Florida. And, of course, Western at home. They take on Troy. But that will do it for this morning. See you later.
You're watching WLKY News at 7 a.m. Live, local, late breaking with Christina Mora, Lexi Sheen, weather with Suzanne Horgan, and the home of WLKY News Chopper.
Good morning, I'm Lexi Sheen.
And I'm Christina Mora. Thank you for starting your Saturday right here with us. It's 7:29. We're going to get to all of our top news, but first we want to get to that chilly forecast with meteorologist Suzanne Horgan. Good morning.
Good morning. That's right. Temperatures in the 20s and lower 30s this morning.
Oh, wow. Okay, it's official.
We might be whining about it, but look at all those people gathered out there to run the Big Hit Half Marathon. They got their coffee in their hands, ear warmers on, they're ready for it.
Yeah, I like how everyone looks. Everyone is dressed so awesome out there. They've got the pants on, they've got the armbands, headbands, the whole 9 yards, some hats on there. In fact, let's go ahead and give you that live look outside. This is for the Republic Bank Big Hit Marathon, taking you through downtown, by the Yum Center, also down by Papa John's Cardinal Stadium, as well as down by 4th Street and the Muhammad Ali Center. So it's a quarter marathon and it's a half marathon. And boy, looks like they've got a good turnout on a chilly Saturday morning out there, but it's kind of refreshing out there. Temperatures are certainly chilly. We're in the 20s and in the 30s. So again, a nice turnout down there. So I believe the race officially kicks off at about 7:45 this morning. So good luck to all of the racers out there and runners. Let's go ahead and give you another live perspective outside from our camera that we have this morning at Churchill Downs. Everything looking good from that perspective. And just the very start of your morning. Beautiful shot there from our camera that we have at the Sheraton. No problems as far as rainfall as we check out the Doppler network as we head throughout the day today. Temps will be topping out into the upper 50s, so below normal, but not a bad day. It is currently 27 degrees in Corydon, 27 degrees in LaGrange, 26 in Frankfort, and 31 degrees in Columbia, 26 degrees in Munfordville. Your forecast high into the upper 50s for today with a nice mixture of clouds and sunshine. We'll have more on what you can expect. We are talking about some warmer weather coming our way, but we also have the risk of some shower and thunderstorm activity. So we will detail all of that in your 7-day forecast. But right now, let's send it back over to Christina.
Thank you, Suzanne. 7:31 now. An accused serial killer is now eligible for the death penalty after a jury convicted him of murder. A Floyd County jury will begin the penalty phase in the William Clyde Gibson case on Monday. Gibson was found guilty of murdering 74-year-old Christine Whitus. Prosecutors told the jury Gibson not only sexually assaulted Whitus, he also tortured her with a knife. His lawyer said he did plan to have sex with her, but never intended to kill her, adding he was severely intoxicated at the time. Gibson showed no reaction when that guilty verdict was read. Prosecutors say they're ready for Monday.
If there was ever a case that was relevant for the death penalty to be filed, it would be this one. And so I believe that we made the right decision, and so we'll see if the jurors, what the jurors think when we put the penalty phase in front of them next week.
Now, Gibson is also charged in the murders of 2 other women. Stephanie Kirk's body was found buried in the backyard of Gibson's home shortly after Christine Whitus's murder. He's also accused of killing Karen Hodella more than a decade ago. Now, his trial for their murders is currently scheduled for January.
He's a free man after being found not guilty of his family's murders. Now, new details have emerged about David Camp's final months in custody. He spent those behind bars in Boone County, Indiana. WLKY's Marissa Alter has more from Lebanon.
Throughout this 9-week trial, both sides entered roughly 500 exhibits into evidence. It's all headed back to the evidence lockers, but first, we got a look.
This is what David Camp's t-shirt looks like now, 13 years after his family's murders. Holes everywhere from all the testing. Jurors specifically asked to see it during their deliberations. Here's what it looked like the night Kim, Brad, and Jill Cam were shot to death. The jury had access to dozens of photos. Cam's left shoe is also among the piles of evidence. After years of swabbing, you can't see blood on it anymore, but pictures show that.
This is a demonstrative exhibit of the sweatshirt of Charles Brown. The backbone and the collar. It is not the one.
The now infamous gray sweatshirt remains sealed in its evidence bag, never opened in court. But this exhibit gave jurors an idea of where each victim's blood and DNA were found. They also had access to part of the Bronco, like the headliner and roll bar. Pages of test results, audio and video recordings. The stacks of exhibits seem never-ending. Now they're bound for storage where state statute says they must be saved for at least 50 years.
This is a copy of the verdict from yesterday's acquittal. As you can see, the 4-person's name has been redacted. That's because this jury of 8 women and 4 men say at this point they wish to remain anonymous. In Boone County, I'm Marissa Alter, WLKY News.
And despite the verdict, David Cam's fight in court is not over yet. The parents of Kim Cam have filed 2 civil lawsuits preventing him from collecting life insurance and investment funds stemming from his family's deaths. Don't forget, we do have a wide range of even more coverage of the Cam trial and the verdict online. That includes raw video of Cam leaving the courthouse. We also have reaction from prosecutors from this trial and the previous ones. An entire interview with families on both sides of the case is also there. It's all on the homepage at WLKY.com.
7:34 now. A jury delivered a split decision in a local murder case. LaKendrick Charlton was found guilty in the death of Lamont Wilson in West Louisville, but Markel White was acquitted in the case. Wilson was shot on the porch of his home on 27th Street in September of 2010. And 2 homeless men have taken a plea deal, and that would happen during jury selection for their murder trial. Yesterday, Roger Duvall and Michael Stillwell pleaded guilty to murder and other charges in the death of Patrick Howard. Howard was beaten 2 years ago during a robbery at a home in the Hikes Point area. Duvall was given a life sentence, but will be eligible for parole in 25 years. Stillwell received a 20-year sentence.
Well, enough is enough. City leaders are taking a tough approach to curbing violence. WLKY's Tim Elliott gives us an update on the community-wide effort to make your neighborhood safer.
May 17th, 2012. Shots ring out in broad daylight in West Louisville. In the end, 3 people were dead.
Everybody remembers that day, and what was so important was how the community responded.
Mayor Greg Fisher says that day was a wake-up call for the city. Something needed to be done.
This is not who we are as a city. Nobody was pointing fingers. Everybody was just saying, how can I help?
1 year ago, the city created the Violence Prevention Work Group. The program is designed to prevent crime and help make our neighborhoods safer.
We want to be the safest city in the world.
There are a total of 42 recommendations they're trying to implement. Mayor Fisher highlighted a few that have already been put in place, including the Suicide Prevention Work Group.
And over the last several years, we've had more suicides than homicides in the community. Any death, whether it's a suicide, whether it's a homicide, whether it's a traffic fatality, it's a death. And we want to understand the issues behind each one of those and work to prevent them.
Because as you know, the government alone cannot make this work happen. It's going to take all of us in this room to really get to the outcomes that we're hoping to get to.
Anthony Smith is at the forefront on this fight against violence. He's responsible for coordinating everyone involved to make sure they're all on the same page.
A lot of people in the community have a lot of passion for this work and want to be engaged and are looking for ways to be helpful.
So far, the mayor says the program has been a success. Overall, crime is down, but Fisher says they're just getting started.
There is a lot of work ahead, but the good news for the community is that people are embracing this work, and they understand that it is a journey, but they're happy to be on the journey.
Reporting from Louisville, Tim Elliott, WLKY News.
Well, with a snip of the ribbon, that's paving the way for hundreds of high-paying jobs in Jeffersonville. Governor Mike Pence was on hand for yesterday's ceremony at the River Ridge Commerce Center. Pharmaceutical company Catamaran is building a facility.
To technology and customer service, they process 1 in every 5 prescriptions claims in the United States. Catamaran is a leader, and that's why we are so pleased that they have chosen to locate in Jeffersonville.
The 107,000 square foot facility also includes a call and distribution center. It will open next year.
Well, here's some food for thought. A local initiative wants to help make us more knowledgeable about the foods we eat. Mayor Fisher signed the Louisville Community Food Principles Charter. It was developed by the Leadership Louisville Bingham Fellows. The charter addresses issues such as access to fresh and healthy foods, nutrition, hunger relief, and the humane treatment of farm workers and animals.
The Bingham Fellows were charged with a pretty difficult task this year, and it was to create a smarter food culture for our community, not just about local food. This is also about accessibility, access to healthy food for all the people in our community, how that impacts the environment. Food is a difficult challenge in our community.
The mayor joined 4 dozen local corporations, schools, and civic groups in signing that charter.
7:39 now, a new adult comedy hits the box office this weekend based off a popular TV series about misadventures. Hear why it has critics buzzing.
And if you hate typing emails, Google has a new tool that will please some fans of old school handwriting. We'll have the details when WLKY News returns.
Good morning. Right now it is 7:39 and the day is starting out with some frost and cool conditions, but it looks to be beautiful. We're going to check out your 7-day, which includes some warmer weather, but also the risk of rain.
Now, your WLKY weather with Suzanne Horgan.
And good morning. Right now it is 7:42. A beautiful shot this morning from our camera that we have at the Bristol. Another pretty picture here from the Sheraton this morning. Winds will be kicking up a bit throughout the day today. Winds from the southwest at about 10 to 25 miles per hour. As far as temperatures are concerned, you know, normally we would be near the upper 60s to near 70 degrees. Today, we're going to be stuck in the upper 50s, but at least improving weather over the past couple of days, and we will see mostly clear skies. Let's go ahead and check out our WLKY Doppler network, and you can see just fine out there right now. No problems as far as rainfall. We are expecting dry skies throughout the day today with those temperatures in the upper 50s. High pressure will dominate our weather for this weekend. That brings us nice dry conditions. If you've got Christmas card pictures to take, or if you want to just enjoy a trip out to the pumpkin patch, the weather is going to be just fine. But cold to start. Winds from the southwest will usher in some milder air relatively as we head throughout the day today and into tomorrow. Still looking at quiet conditions with high pressure dominating our forecast. Into your Sunday, upper 50s once again. Monday, we should be able to recover into the middle 60s, and we are expecting dry skies. We'll start to see the chances of shower and thunderstorm activity go up late on Tuesday. Right now, it's 32 degrees in Madison. It's 28 degrees in LaGrange. 31 degrees in Columbia, 26 in Munfordville. Certainly a cold start to your Saturday. 33 degrees in Indy, 33 in Dayton. Your forecast high today, we should be able to recover into the upper 50s. Just a really nice mixture of clouds and sunshine. It's going to be a nice autumn day, albeit a bit on the cool side with those winds gusting to about 25 miles per hour. At least they're from the southwest. As we go ahead and take a look at our extended forecast, upper 50s for your Sunday. Monday coming in at 64 degrees, upper 60s on Tuesday before that rain arrives. Upper 60s on Wednesday, then a chance of shower and thunderstorm activity on Thursday. That is Halloween. Keep in mind, we still have several days to get through before we get to Halloween, so we might be able to tweak that forecast a little bit. Models are flip-flopping a little bit on the timing of that middle 60s on Friday. So something that we'll watch very closely. Obviously, we've got so many trick-or-treaters that want to get out there.
But 70s would be awesome.
That would be delightful.
Fantastic. And you know, there are so many activities going on and opportunities for the kids to dress up in their Halloween costumes. So at least we've had a couple of pretty good weekends. And most likely a lot of people heading out to the pumpkin patch this weekend.
All right, another good one on tap. Thanks, Suzanne. We do have some good news that we'd like to congratulate Chief Meteorologist Jay Cardosi on.
Meteorologist who's been leading the WLKY weather team now for 17 years.
I would like to congratulate our very own Chief Meteorologist Jay Cardosi. There he is. Yesterday, Jay received the Louisville Defender newspaper's 2013 Outstanding Professional Achievement Award. Churchill Downs' John Asher helped present the award to Jay, whose goal is to provide interesting, informative, and educational forecasts for our viewers. Congratulations to Jay. We always hear,
what's Jay say?
Oh, everywhere you go, that's what everyone says.
What a perfect name for a meteorologist, you know?
Well, you know what, and so we'll let him tackle the Halloween forecast as we get a little bit closer to it. Always those big forecasts, as we were talking about earlier, Halloween, Christmas, and Derby always seems like they're, and the 4th of July this year, always seems like there has to be some sort of excitement around this forecast.
Excitement's a good word for that.
Well, it's so nice of you to also present him with the award of doing the Halloween forecast.
Yes.
That's right.
2 awards
and
in 2
Matt
days.
Milosevic that morning.
What more could you ask for? All right.
Thank you.
Well, in theaters this weekend, an adult comedy from one of the biggest names in gross-out humor and a darker tale of what happens when greed takes over. Dave Stewart has a preview in Now Showing.
An 86-year-old man must travel cross-country accompanied by his young grandson. That's the premise behind Jackass Presents Bad Grandpa. Hidden cameras follow the duo during their misadventures.
Grandpa, this thing doesn't work.
Oh, God. Nothing. Oh! Oh! The movie is the latest in a series by the extreme comedy Jackass team. A covered-in-makeup Johnny Knoxville plays the main character. Bad Grandpa is rated R. Also hitting theaters this weekend, The Counselor, with an all-star cast including Michael Fassbender and Penelope Cruz. Fassbender plays an attorney who delves into the dangerous world of drug trafficking.
What are you going to use for money?
I've got some money.
I don't think so. If you had any serious money, you wouldn't be this jackpot in the first place.
I might.
Ah, yeah? Well, I know why I'm in it. Do you?
Sure. Same as you. Greed.
The screenplay was written by novelist Cormac McCarthy, famous for dark tales such as No Country for Old Men. The Counselor is rated R. For Now Showing, I'm Dave Stewart.
Well, Pink is postponing more shows on her Truth About Love tour so she can rest her vocal cords. The singer is dropping 3 stops in Canada this month to recover from inflamed vocal cords and laryngitis. Doctors initially put her on a 4-day rest, but afterward decided she needed more time to get better. All tickets for the postponed shows will be honored on the rescheduled dates. And Google says it can now take your handwritten scribble and turn it into text. The company has rolled out a new feature to Gmail and Google Docs. You can write out what you want to say with a mouse pad or cursor. Google will do its best to create a typed version of your words. If Google can't decipher a word, it will offer a list of possible suggestions you can choose from. Gmail users can get the new tool in more than 50 languages.
Well, almost 20 years ago, a Colorado grand jury indicted the parents of JonBenet Ramsey. That's according to newly released court documents. This tops a look at some of the biggest stories we've been following so far this week. The 6-year-old beauty queen was found murdered in her own home. John and Patsy Ramsey were never officially accused of killing JonBenet, but they were indicted for placing her in a, quote, situation which posed a threat of injury to a child's life. They were also accused of assisting the person suspected of committing the murder. 2 National Guard members hurt in a shooting at a Tennessee armory have been released from the hospital. They were shot while disarming the gunman, who is a fellow guardsman. A law enforcement official says the shooter had been disciplined before opening fire. And demolition is now underway to erase the site of one of the nation's greatest tragedies. Sandy Hook Elementary School is now being leveled. The fate of the 57-year-old building was decided by task forces of elected officials following a series of public hearings. Newtown is using a $50 million state grant to build the new school. It's expected to begin accepting students in about 3 years. Christina.
Lexi, thank you. And here's a look at what's coming up on CBS this morning. Take a look back at the big picture of Superstorm Sandy's devastation from 900 photographers. Plus, get a behind-the-scenes look at a new documentary about Jimi Hendrix. And Top Chef judge Gail Simmons stops by for The Dish. That's just ahead, starting at 8 o'clock.
And good morning. Right now it's 7:49. Our forecast high today right around 58 degrees. More of the same for tomorrow with some pleasant sunshine. Middle 60s on Monday. A chance of some shower and thunderstorm activity late on Tuesday.
And grab those tickets. Here are the numbers from last night's Mega Millions drawing. 6, 16, 45, 54, 60, and the Mega Ball is 15. No big winners. The jackpot grows to an estimated $75 million, and the jackpot for tonight's Powerball drawing is $40 million. 7:52 on your Saturday morning. An accused serial killer is now eligible for the death penalty after a jury convicted him of murder. On Monday, a Floyd County jury begins the penalty phase in the William Clyde Gibson case. Late Friday afternoon, Gibson was found guilty of murdering 74-year-old Christine Whitus. Prosecutors told the jury Gibson not only sexually assaulted Whitus, he also tortured her with a knife. His lawyer said he did plan to have sex with her, but never intended to kill her, adding he was severely intoxicated at the time. Gibson showed no reaction when that guilty verdict was read. Prosecutors say they're ready for Monday.
If there was ever a case that was relevant for the death penalty to be filed, it would be this one. And so I believe that we made the right decision, and so we'll see if what the jurors think when we put the penalty phase in front of them next week.
Again, that penalty phase begins Monday. The Floyd County prosecutor expects it to last anywhere from 2 to 3 days.
A day after the not guilty verdict in the David Cam trial, the media got a closer look at all the evidence in the case. Both sides entered roughly 500 exhibits into evidence during the 9-week trial, and jurors had access to nearly all of it during the 10-hour deliberations. They specifically asked to see the shirt Cam was wearing the night of his family's murders 13 years ago. Now it's full of holes from all of the testing done over the years. The infamous gray sweatshirt remained in sealed evidence bags during the trial and was never opened in court. Instead, attorneys used an exhibit to show exactly where the victim's DNA and blood was on that sweatshirt. All of the exhibits will now be packed up and returned to the evidence lockers for storage. State statutes say it must be saved for at least 50 years.
And we do have a wide range of coverage of the Cam trial and the verdict online, including raw video of Cam. We also have reaction from prosecutors from this trial and the previous trials, and entire interviews from the families on both sides of this case. It's on our homepage at WLKY.com.
Well, some positive news this morning on the city's effort to curb violence. Yesterday, Mayor Fisher held a news conference to talk about the progress made so far. 1 year ago, the city started the Violence Prevention Work Group. That group is designed to help reduce crime and make our neighborhoods safer. The mayor says overall crime is down, and he's looking toward the future.
There is a lot of work ahead, but the good news for the community is that people are embracing this work, and they understand that it is a journey, but they're happy to be on the journey.
The Violence Prevention Work Group began in response to a triple homicide that took place in May of last year. Mayor Fisher says that day served as a wake-up call for the city. A snip of the ribbon paves the way for hundreds of high-paying jobs in Jeffersonville. Governor Mike Pence was on hand for yesterday's ceremony at the River Ridge Commerce Center. Pharmaceutical company Catamaran is opening there.
Their dedication to technology and customer service, they process 1 in every 5 prescriptions claims in the United States. Catamaran is a leader, and that's why we are so pleased that they have chosen to locate in Jeffersonville.
The 107,000 square foot facility also includes a call and distribution center. It will all open up next year. Bundle up if you're heading out the door right now. Layers are a good idea today because you may be able to shed them throughout the day.
That's right. Temperatures in the upper 50s by this afternoon. Still running below normal. You know, our normal high would take us to about 67 degrees, which seems like it would feel so warm, doesn't it?
At this point, yes.
Compared to 29, 30.
Yeah. Yeah, temperatures starting out this morning in the middle 20s in a few outlying areas. We are looking for temperatures to recover into the upper 50s for both today and tomorrow. We'll look forward to some beautiful sunshine out there. It's going to be a pretty day, and that's nice for us. You can still get outside, enjoy some big festivities, and it's not going to be cold. Upper 60s, not bad. Middle 60s, upper 50s, excuse me. Middle 60s for tomorrow. Upper 60s by Tuesday. A 40% chance of showers and storms Wednesday, upper 60s, and then a chance of rain perhaps for Halloween. We'll have to watch that closely for you, of course.
All right. Thank you so much, Suzanne, and have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.